What is up, guys? It's Pup, your coach of the Green Bay Drilburs, and today we have GWA Week 5. But before we go into anything, I have some huge news about our team. We made a blockbuster trade. So, unfortunately, Iron Valiant is no longer with us on the team. Neither is Empoleon. Also, neither is Tornadus T, neither is Ditto, neither is Golurk, Komala. They're all off the team. All right. My team got completely transformed. We had a free agency period where we could drop anything, pick up other stuff, change Terras. We could make trades. So I ended up trading with Rampior. We fought him a couple weeks back. He had Palafin. He had the Hail team with Bex Caliber and Alola Ninetales. So I traded with him. I traded Iron Valiant and Empoleon. And in return, we got Palafin and we got Iron Treads, which is actually really insane. Iron Treads is awesome on our team, being like a really good physically defensive wall, whereas we really had no one on our team before. Like Empoleon could not take hits. We have Palafin now, who's honestly insane. Base 160 attack after you get him in with 0 to hero. Has Jet Punch, which absolutely just destroys things. Even though he doesn't do as much work in this matchup, it's going to be insane to have on our team. And I think the trade worked out for both of us. Rampior really couldn't get anything going with Palafin until like after he traded it to me, which is unfortunate that he gets 5 kills in the game right after. But hopefully it works out for us. I was planning on dropping Empoleon anyways, so being able to package that together and get Iron Treads is really nice. Our speed tiers aren't the best now that we got rid of Iron Valiant, which is at 116, and we could run booster on that thing. But Iron Treads at 106 and can also run booster, so that's not too bad. But with our new team, we're running like 2 base 100s, 2 base 106s, 2 base 80s. But we still have 125 in Kilowattrel, so we're chilling. So other new additions to the team, Enamorous Incarnate. We got Terra on that thing, so we have Terra Fairy and Terra Ground, which is really insane, and that thing can really just steamroll its way through a lot of people's teams. So I thought that would be really important. I changed one of my Terra captains to Thwacky, which can have Grass, Steel, and Fire. Thought that would be really nice, and Thwacky is coming in this game. It could come as a Terra captain, who knows? We also have a Beartic. It's a new addition to the team with Terra. I'm not 100% sure the Terra's off the top of my head. Maybe Ice Water Fighting. That's what I think. But I feel like that could be a really good pair with Slowking, Chilly Receptioning out to Beartic. I set up Sword Sands so that I can just destroy other people's teams. Other new additions, we have Gligar, which adds just another physically defensive threat. Adds Stealth Rocks and Spikes, adds Defog. And then we have Dedenne. We had one more point. I thought if we could be tearing our fairy type, then we might want to just have another one to make people not want to lock themselves into outrage. I also get like big nuzzle on that thing. I got cheek pouch sets. I mean, it's really not going to do too much, but it's just really nice to look at on our team. I think it fills up a couple of roles. So now the whole new team, I guess I'm just going to go through both of our teams, but start with mine. We got the Palafin, we have Galarian Slowking, Chi-Yu, Kilowattrel, Thwacky, Enamorous Incarnate. We have Beware, Beartic. We have Iron Treads, we have Regidrago, we have Gligar, and we have Dedenne. And in this week, we're facing Spin, who is number 1 in the league right now, but not all the games have been played, but most of them have been. But he's number 1, 3-1, and he has the Gouging Fire, Clefable, Quacklevolt, Terracizor. He has Clodsire. He picked up Tornadus Therian that we dropped. He has Terra Raging Bolt. He has Terra Sinistra. He has Terra Sableye, and he has Vulpix. And their Terra types, we pull this up really quick. They have on the Scizor, their Steel, Fire, Water. Raging Bolt is Electric and Fairy. Sinistra is Ghost, Steel, Water, and Sableye is Ghost, Water, Fairy. So we definitely have our work cut out for us this week. It's going to be really tough to beat. The Terra Raging Bolt is a huge threat. Clodsire can really wall a lot of the things on our team, and then obviously we have to deal with the Gouging Fire, which is super duper threatening. I think anything on their team could come besides probably the Sableye and the Vulpix probably don't come to this game. I don't think they look the best. Um, but I mean, if they do, then that's fine by me. If they want to bring the Vulpix and power up my Chiu's Specs flamethrowers, then that's fine. But let's just go right over what I'm bringing this week. First of all, we're just bringing Chiu, modest choice specs, Dark Pulse, Overheat, Flamethrower, Fire Blast. Dark Pulse is really good into them. Flamethrower is also pretty good, but they have the Gouging Fire that can eat up the Flamethrowers and all the Fire type moves. Even an Overheat, I think it only does about 25 to 30% to Gouging Fire. We don't really want that thing to get a free switch in. But Dark Pulse is really good, even into like a physically defensive Clefable. It's going to do like 30 to 40%, I think, off the top of my head. And like into the Clodsire, I can easily destroy that thing. It's not a real switch in for Chiyu. I'm also running Modest on here instead of Timid. I could run Timid and outspeed the Gouging Fire, but I feel like they're gonna try to go Adamant. I feel like they're gonna try to get greedy, run Adamant on that thing. So I am getting greedy myself and running Modest, and Modest just like makes it so this thing doesn't have a single switch in. Next up, we're going to bring Thwackey. Bring in an Eviolite set, max defense, some speed, and then a lot of attack. This thing is there to eat up some hits from Quackable. We don't get to it KO'd with the Grassy Surge by a close combat from Quackable. I think even if they're Adamant, don't get to it KO'd, which is really nice. That also means we don't get OHKO'd by a +2 after Swords Dance. And we have a decent bit of speed on here as well. I thought it could be pretty nice to make sure that we're outspeeding like the Sableye. I think I was supposed to have a little bit more speed on here, which is definitely true. Here, let me put it back on here. I want to have 220 because that will make sure that we outspeed a Clefable that is offensive but not modest. But not timid. Which, I mean, if they could run max speed Clefable, it actually looks pretty decent into my team. But that's what the EVs are there for. We're rocking Grassy Glide for the Quackable. If we tear grass, we can kill it after like a spike or after a rock. It'll be pretty close though. So just get some chip on that thing. A knockoff is really good into their team. They could probably just bring in Clodsire on this thing, so I can just knock it off. I have U-turn. I have Endeavor in case they take me down really low. Then I can Endeavor like their walls. Like if I Endeavor Clodsire down to a couple HP, then I'd be sitting really good. If I Endeavor the Clefable, then I'll also be really, really happy with that. Then next up, we got Palafin. So this week I'm running a little bit of a bulky set. I just want to be able to eat up some hits from Gouging Fire. I don't think we get 3 KO'd by a +1 Gouging Fire, no matter if they're like Earthquake, Heat Crash, whatever. We also have max attack and a decent bit of speed on here. The speed is there to ensure that we're outspeeding the Raging Bolt, even if they're max. We also outspeed Adamant Quackable, which is pretty nice. We have Jet Punch, Ice Punch, Flip Turn, and Facade. Ice Punch is actually really solid into their team because it hits the Clodsire, because that thing has Water Absorb for us. It hits the Torn, it hits the Sinistcha, it hits the Raging Bolt, and nothing really wants to switch into an Ice Punch. We also have Flip Turn to get some momentum, and we have Facade as well. So if they end up burning us with Sinistcha or end up toxicking us with the Clodsire, they could also burn us with Sableye if that ends up coming. But we can just click Facade, and it has a chance to KO some Clefables. So I feel like it was a really, really nice bring this week. Even though it's not going to do its normal like Choice Banded Jet Punch work because of the Clodsire being there, I still feel like it's really, really valuable on the team. Now third up, we're going to have Gligar, rocking Eviolite with Immunity, Earthquake, Knockoff, U-turn, Stealth Rock. This thing completely walls the Clodsire. If they're just running like Toxic, Stealth Rock, Recover, and Earthquake, it literally cannot touch us because of immunity. Also, Gouging Fire does not do too much damage to us, and we can just click Earthquake, and it does not really want to take that one bit. And also set up Stealth Rocks, which are really, really nice against their team because of that Gouging Fire. They have Torn. They can end up tearing Scissor and Fire. It's just really nice to get chip on their team, though. And we don't want that Clodsire to be coming in all the time, so it can take some chip too. So this was absolutely essential on the team. It's actually why I picked up Gligar was for this week, because I saw how good it was. It's also really decent into a couple of our other matchups. But throughout the next couple of weeks, we're taking on like some of the top tier teams in the league. Um, we obviously fight like first place, which is Spin. I think we fight second place. Um, let me take a look really quick. Oh, okay. Spin is actually in second place right now, but we take on first place, we take on second place, we take on third place, and then we're sitting in fourth place. So it's going to be a really, really hard finish to the year, to the season, I guess. But as long as we split them, then we should be pretty good for the playoffs. But I thought Gligar was really good in this game and some of the other ones coming up. Then we have our Assault Vested Slowking. This thing can eat up hits from the Raging Bolt. It's pretty much why it's here. It can also somewhat wall like Clefable and Clodsire. I have Psychic Noise, so if I hit that on them, they can't recover HP, so Clefable can't Wish, do any of that shenanigans, can't like Moonlight, whatever it has. Clodsire won't be able to click Recover. So that could be really, really nice. Future Sight hits a lot of their team really hard. Got Sludge Bomb for the Clef, and it can also hit Gouging Fire, and then Flamethrower for a Scizor that's not Terrad. Also hits Sinistcha pretty well. Just rocking max special defense. This thing can switch into the Raging Bolt. It can switch into Clef. It can switch into Sinistcha even though it has super effective Shadow Ball. It can also switch in on the Torn, but I just don't like if I get knocked off. It's pretty bad, but it's not the end of the world because I still have max special defense. I have Regenerator, so I'll be in a pretty good spot no matter what happens. And then last up, I thought I would bring an Amorous. We're going Terragram this week. Bringing heavy duty boots just in case they end up getting up their rocks or spikes. It would be pretty annoying to deal with. And then we have Moonblast, Mystical Fire, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb. I didn't really want to rock like a spec set because they have Clodsire, which can always switch into Moonblast. Or like Scizor could switch in, and then can't really Mystical Fire, Earth Power, But this is really nice with a mod set. Terra Ground will be able to one-shot like the Gouging Fire. I can do massive damage to Clodsire. I can do massive damage to Raging Bolt if they're not Terra'd. And if they are, Sludge Bomb will hit them really hard. And when I Terra Ground, they don't really have good things to be able to hit me with besides Quackable. That's their only like super effective stab. Besides, I guess they have Matcha Gotcha on Sinistcha. But nothing really wants to take a couple hits from this thing. It's going to outspeed most of the Pokemon on their team. And if they're running the Adamant Gouging Fire, then if they're running the Jolly Gouging Fire, I'm still going to outspeed it by 1 point. So this is actually a really, really good bring into their team. The only thing that outspeeds is a Scarfer or the Tornadus, which I feel like I can deal with the other members of my team. So that's about it for this. It's like most of my sets were like 252, 252. That's just kind of how it needs to be in this battle. Gouging Fire is such a big threat. They have a lot of really big threats, so I just got to go for max. I can't do anything fancy. I just really got to get a nice clean win. I don't care if it's 1-0 this week. But yeah, that's about it. I'll go over one more thing before I let you go for the battle. The reason I made all these changes, I was sitting, 3-1. But, I kind of got exposed versus like Sneasler. Got exposed there. Against Wolf Haley last week, I easily could have lost. Like none of my battles were like I felt like I was in control the whole time. So I felt like getting a couple new members on the team could like make me feel more in control. Iron Valiant was great, but it like besides week 1 where it put in so much work, I feel like people just prepped for it so much. They were bringing like fully specially defensive mons, like they had the Politoed and the Pheasantipity last week. And so now having like Palafin on my team, they have prep against like Chiyu, Regidrago on the special side, and then they have Palafin on the physical side. Also have like Beware and Iron Shreds, which are like underrated physical threats, and Amorous can be mixed. I felt like it was really nice to get a little bit of change to my team so I can try to actually control some battles instead of like scraping out wins, even though versus Spin, I'm assuming that if we win, we're going to be scraping it out. But that's about it for all this team builder. I'll send you guys over to the battle right now. Hopefully we can get a nice big dub. Alright, what's up? We're connected to Spin here. Let's see what they're bringing. I'm a little bit nervous about this match. I think I actually predicted everything. No, I did not. No Raging Bolt. They did bring the Torn. I actually thought that they would bring the Raging Bolt. I just thought it looked a little bit better into like Chiyo. Sorry, we got dog barking, but should be fine. And what do I lead versus this? It's really scary. I mean, they could easily lead like Clef. I do think that the fish is pretty good as a lead, but I mean, if they lead like Quackable, then I'm in a bad spot. If they lead Torn, it's not really the best either. Palafin's also a decent lead. Even Gligar's not too bad. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm worried about Terra, like maybe Terra Scizor. That's what I'm expecting. Actually, kind of forget the Terras off the top of my head. So let me check that out really quick. Killed my audio, which is annoying. But hopefully that'll come back. I'm just gonna lead. I'm gonna lead with a Chiyu. Yeah, I'm gonna lead with a Chiyu. I think that that's better. Hey, hopefully my audio ends up coming back. Just trying to look at their Terra Caps. Yeah, it's just Scizor in this game. So I just have to worry about that. Fire and water. Man, this is annoying. Let me see if I can fix this really quick. They do end up leading with a Claude. I'm gonna try to fix that. There we go. I mean, it's still cutting out. Oh well. Versus a Clodsire, if they're defensive Clodsire, I mean, they really don't want to take any hits from me. But, I mean, I'm in a pretty bad spot anyways. Yeah, if they're max special defense, then they eat this. But if they're not max special defense, if they're like a regular defense variant, then they will definitely die to Overheat. So I feel like Overheat's really not a bad play. We don't die to Claude unless they're invested, and if they're invested, then they should die to Overheat. Unless they're like a crazy Solvest set. But maybe I don't risk it this early on. I just go into... Yeah, I just go into my Gligar. It's an easy counter to this thing. It can't be poisoned, it can't hit me with Earthquake. And I can just freely set up my rocks. They do withdraw. So we'll see what they go into here. See what their answer is. Their answer is Torn, so probably AB Torn. I feel like rocks are really good here, but also knocking off could be great. Torn T with Assault Vest, how much would it have taken? I mean, it could just straight up die, depending on their investment. But they could easily knock me off here, which would be really annoying, but not the end of the world to be knocked. I could also just get knocked on my Enamorous if I want to. I think rocks are really good. I'm really going to hinder their Gouging Fire if they're not running boots. So I feel like I'm in a good spot. They could run Icy Wind here, but I don't think it would do too much. They just U-turn. Okay. It does literally just nothing. I want to see the actual damage it did to see if they're attack invested or if they're like 0. And I wonder what they go out to here. Maybe like Crackle Bolt. Maybe even Scizor, depending on like what like set they are. I wonder. Could be Clef as well, like a Calm Mind Clef, which would be really scary. Go back out to Claude. That's actually crazy. Because I feel like all they can do is really just set up the rocks, and I can 2KO this thing with Earthquake. And honestly, rocks on my side of the field are really not that big. Oh, there's Shucka. Okay. So, I feel like they do have some defense investment, even after that damage. I mean, it's annoying to have the rocks up. It's really only going to hurt the Chiyu. Everything else doesn't really matter. It's just Earthquake again. It's pretty free. I mean, I could have clicked Knock, but I don't think it's worth it. That did maybe a quarter, maybe a little bit more. They definitely have some defense investment. Let's see how much this does. That's a good chunk. Maybe I just got a low roll on that first one, to be honest. Because that damage definitely looks like it's like max special defense. And we actually win this battle eventually, if that is true. They could just go Torn, which they might do. They could also go Clef or Scizor. They go Torn. Okay, we can see if it's Boots. It's not Boots. Okay. And I get a pretty free knock into this thing, or I could just also U-turn out, predicting them to U-turn. I don't hate that. It would be nice if I was able to get my Palafin in, or I could just go into Slowking depending on what they go. I'm just gonna U-turn. They knock off. That's fine to lose my EVLite. It's not the biggest deal in this battle. I U-turn and I don't get very much chip. That's just how it is. So Torn. And they are definitely like install best set at about 74%, I would say maybe. I can go Slowking, but I don't really want to get knocked on that thing. I can go Chiyu. They could Focus Blast, which has a chance to knock me out after rocks, which would be unfortunate. I could bluff Scarf by going into Chiyu though, and I feel like that's probably what I want to do. I feel like that's my best bet. I could go into Palafin and then like double out to this thing just to get my my 0 to hero activated, which I actually think is better. I love the shiny Palafin. It looks so good. Get the pointed stones dug into me, and they'll see my leftovers here. So, I mean, revealing that thing, but it's not too big a deal. They could easily U-turn here, but I'm just gonna go right back into my Gligar. Obviously, Gligar is really, really nice into their team because of that Gouging Fire, but I feel like I can beat it. It's not important to have the ground type on my team either for Raging Bolt, so I feel good, you know, letting this thing go down if it ends up going down, which it probably will to 2 Hurricanes if they hit 2, or Bleak Windstorm is what they would probably run. Maybe they knock here though, or just U-turn. They do just knock. So, good switch by me. And I'm going to knock them right back. I should always live from here. Actually, technically it's a roll on Hurricane. If they're Bleak Wind, I should always live. But it's very in my favor to live. I do avoid, which is really nice, but I mean, it was always in my favor. I knock off the AV. I'm gonna get my slow U-turn off in this spot. At this point, how much is Palafin Jet Punch doing from Hero? It's doing about 50. Oh, miss another one. I mean, it feels so bad. I'm sorry. Spin, you know. Yeah, I do feel bad for that, for sure. Now, I wonder, is it best to go out to my fish here? I could also go Enamorous. Because there are no Assault Vest anymore. Obviously, they're going to outspeed me, though. And knocking off my boots would be really annoying, but I could get a kill with Moonblast. Man, fish could be so good into their team. It should outspeed everything else. I actually think my best bet is to go into my Palafin and get the roll on Torn. Being in hero form, it can do 50%. And if they hit me with a hurricane, it's not the end of the world. Oh yeah, shiny Palafin, so good. I'm glad I traded for this thing. I mean, if you guys didn't see, I talked about it at the beginning of the video, but traded for this Palafin, and it's gonna be insane. No more Iron Valiant on my team, but I feel like this is really nice. I feel like a Jet Punch should be killing here. So I'm gonna go for Ice Punch. Am I really gonna go for Ice Punch? Yeah, I will. They could go Claude easily. And this thing is still really useful because it has Regenerator. Even though it has no AV, it's still like outspeeding my entire team. God dang, they do end up staying in. And they hit the Hurricane, does a lot of damage. But I'm gonna knock it out with Ice Punch. So, I mean, I guess that's alright. It could have been better if we just Jet Punched there. I'd be in a much better spot. I wonder what they go out to here. I mean, even if they're like Choice Band Scizor, I'm in a good spot. I can just Flip Turn. And if Flip Turn's really gonna hurt anything that they want to try going out into. Quackavolt, if they're like Choice Scarf, they can close combat me though. Which is scary if they do end up going into that. So let's see what their option is. They could also go into the Gouging Fire, I guess. Depending on what set they are. And they probably would outspeed me, since I'm not fully invested. They do go out to the big dog. Alright, I don't see a booster. At this point, I live in Earthquake from them. Even Adamant Max. So I feel like Flip Turn's just my best play in general. Yeah, I'm just gonna Flip Turn. They just Dragon Dance in my face. Alright, alright. And they do outspeed, so now they're +1/+1. Obviously, that's really scary, but we're gonna get a huge chunk of damage off here with Flip Turn. They look to be somewhat invested. Probably like max HP. But they do have a good amount of speed as well. Yeah, I'd assume that their max speed, maybe like very little attack. How much do they do to Gligar with no Eviolite? If they're no attack, then they don't do that much. What about Heat Crash? Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what set they are here. But I mean, that Flip Turn didn't do very much. So if they're like, what, maybe like 8 attack or something, I can probably eat this with Gligar. If not, then I can sack it off. They're also heavy duty boots. Obviously, they can't be banned. But if they're no attack, then we can live this. See what they end up going for. If it's Flare Blitz, we also just get like recoil, which is really nice. And they can never really just DD in my face, I don't think. I think that Earthquake does a little too much and risks crits. I mean, maybe this was a misplay. We'll see. This thing definitely does scare me. But if I get it into range Jet Punch, then we should be fine. They Dragon Claw. We do end up living it. Awesome. So Dragon Claw did about 150, I think. Maybe less than that. I don't know, they could have like, you know, 100 attack. And like, I don't know, 180 HP sort of thing. I could see that. I wonder if they Morning Sun. They do. So they are Morning Sun. So really just fishing for a crit here. No matter what, I'm going to leave them at a decently low health. Yeah, I mean, if I crit, I just kill. So it might be in their best interest just to knock me out. How much does Slow King take from this Earthquake? Depending on their spread, it might live, but I'm max special defense, so I might not. And Enamorous will definitely die. It's whatever fire type move they go for. So I'm actually in a really tough spot. They just Dragon Claw here. And, I mean, they could have enough to sweep me already. Let's see. It might just be in the best interest to go to Slow King, try to live in an Earthquake. So they're Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance. They might not even have Earthquake. There's actually probably a pretty good chance that they don't have Earthquake. And I can at least... I could Psychic Noise. So they can't heal. Which I think is probably better than anything else. If they are Earthquake, then they can't touch my Enamorous. I mean, this is really stressful, but I feel like we can take care of it. They're Morning Sun. So they just Morning Sun in my face. I get the Psychic Noise, so they can't heal anymore. And it does a pretty decent chunk, too. And then we just Sludge Bomb. Get some really good chip on this thing. Potentially a poison, which would be great. And if they're Flare Blitz over Heat Crash, then they're going to take too much recoil and just die here. Really depends on what they have. They're going to DD again. I mean, I'm going to do a bunch with this Sludge Bomb. Yeah, get a poison. No longer prevented from healing. I'm going to go for Sludge Bomb because they could Morning Sun here. I definitely am regretting not bringing like Choice Band and Palafin to Jet Punch this thing. They do Morning Sun. So yeah, I'm in a tough spot. Try to get the poison here. I don't get it. They could go for another one. But this is my best bet. I mean, maybe letting my Eviolite go was bad. I knew that this set would be really good for me. I really wonder, maybe they're Mono Dragon Claw? They can't be into Enamorous. They're Flare Blitz. Okay. So they're going to take a huge chunk of recoil here, at least. There goes Slow King. I honestly did not see how much that was that they're left on. I have a feeling that it can't be much, though. So I have to go Palafin and try to kill it. Oh yeah, they're on a sliver. So I mean, Jet Punch is always my play. I cannot overpredict. They could easily go out to Claw here. But I just Jet Punch. They also might just let this thing go down. It did a lot of work into me already. I wonder if this thing is Jolly instead of Adamant. I actually think that they probably are Jolly instead of Adamant. And based on that damage that they did to Gligar with the Dragon Claw, they do withdraw. Good play. They go Claw and get some HP back. And, I mean, at this point, I can Ice Punch. It does a good chunk into them. And their Earthquake from non-invested is 132 max, which will not kill me. So I feel like Ice Punch is pretty good. Oh, just kills them. Wow. Okay, that's insane damage. I was not expecting it to just straight up kill. On my calc, it's... Oh, I'm not calculating the right version. I mean, still, I really wasn't expecting it to knock it out there. They might not even be max HP for it to knock out, which is absolutely wild. But there goes Claude. I'll remove it from the layout. I'm always bad at doing that. But I do think that it, it makes it easier for me to keep track of the game, and I hope it makes everyone else feel like they're able to keep track of the game a little bit better as well. So I'm in a pretty good spot here. I'm having this Palafin out. Like, if they go Clefable, I'm still doing a decent chunk. They do end up going Clef. This thing should not be able to outspeed me. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So I can just flip turn. Gauge what kind of set they are. It does close to 50. I'm assuming that they're like kind of mixed defensive. That makes a lot of sense to me. And I can go into either my Enamorous here, which does look really nice. I can just like click Sludge Bomb into this thing and destroy it. I actually think that's good. If they Moonblast and get the special attack drop, then it's actually a special attack raise for me. And they just go for Wish. Okay. That's fine by me. Show to be leftovers. On this turn, I think Mystical Fire is my play. But it also could just be Moonblast. And I don't have to overpredict it. Also, at this point, I don't need to Terra. I'm just going to click Sludge Bomb. They might not think that they could die here. And if they go Gouging Fire, this will definitely also kill. Yeah, their hope is definitely at this point to get a Wish into Gouging Fire. If that thing gets healthy, then I'm not sure if I can beat it. I get the Sludge Bomb off, and it does not die. So it's got some mixed defenses for sure. And they boost my special attack. Awesome, awesome. I'm guessing maybe 128 with max HP. Based on that damage. And now a Sludge Bomb will destroy them. So I'm going to Mystical Fire. They might think that I'm Choice Scarfed. So I'm going to Mystical Fire, predicting the Scizor to come out. Even if they stay in with this thing, it's not too bad. Good chance for a special attack drop anyways. And if they go to Scizor, that thing just dies. And this should also kill the Gouging Fire. Yeah, no Akka can save them from this Mystical Fire. So they're in a real tough spot. But, I mean, if they go into Scizor right here, then I probably just win the game. They do withdraw. Come on, Scizor. Show it. Show it to me. Big dog. Okay. So they sack this thing. And they see that I am not choice locked. But we get the Gouging Fire out of the way, which is huge. That is absolutely huge. If Quackable ends up being Choice Scarfed, then they'll definitely outspeed us. And then it gets scary with Moxie, but luckily I have Thwackey in the back still. They could go Scizor, Choice Band and Bullet Punch me, but if I Terra Ground, will I live? I actually will not live. A Choice Band and Scizor's Bullet Punch. But at that point, I can easily go out into my Chi-Yu, and Chi-Yu is close to cleaning. It still is definitely a game. They do go out to Scizor. If they're not Choice Banded,
Can I live? I can, but it's not a good roll. It really depends on what kind of set they are. I can also preserve this thing and go hard Chi-Yu. If I go hard Chi-Yu on a close combat, then I'm really selling the game, though. I mean, what can Palafin do to this thing in Hero? I mean, Palafin actually does not do too bad into Scizor. I do think that this is our best play overall. Let's see what they go for. Get the stones dug into me. They U-turn. Ah, that's a great play by them. That does 1,000,000% too. But it does not look like it's choice banded. How much does Quackable take? Quackable actually straight up dies to overheat. Insanely enough. Yeah, after rocks, I think it's a guaranteed Oko. Yep, guaranteed. So I mean, it depends on what speed they're rocking, like if they're rocking Scarf. Which I could definitely see a Scarf set coming. And now we're really, really weak to that Scizor. So that's very, very good into us. So I mean, I made a bad play. So yeah, props to Spin on that one. Let's see what they go out to here. Because based on them taking this long, I don't think that they are Scarfed. They do end up going Quavo. Ooh, that shiny's actually nice. I don't think I've ever seen that shiny. But that thing is nice. Alright. Go for Overheat here. They could be Aqua Jet. They are not. And they're not Scarfed. They are defensive, though. Have a good chunk of defense. And they spin. Alright. Fine by me. So there goes our Chi-Yu. Unfortunately. And there goes the stones for them, and they get Moxie. Luckily, I have an easy answer. Now, Quackable into my Thwacky. They're +1. But I easily eat. I easily eat the close combat. So knockoff could be my best option if they want to try to go out to Scizor. Also, I could U-turn. I'm gonna knock off. I feel like staying in is kind of a throw. I mean, if this thing goes down, then they can go Scizor, and I don't know. The big thing is I'm not taking like the most amount of damage to close combat because I'm max defense. The thing is, I think I would live a U-turn from Scizor. Yeah, if I was max HP. So maybe it was just best. They do withdraw, so I made a good play. They go out, I'm guessing the Scizor. No, they go out to Clef. Alright, alright. Take some damage, not too much. Obviously, they're going to get recovery. And am I going to outspeed this thing? Depends on their spread. Yeah, it really depends on what kind of set they have. Yeah, and I'm in a really, really tough spot here. I think I'm going to Grassy Glide this turn. Just do some damage. That does a decent chunk. They Moonblast. Which, it does a lot, but I mean, I think that's just 0. This turn I could switch. Switching out to Palafin, if they do not Moonblast, could be like a really, really good play. Like predicting a wish. Man, I just don't want to throw this. Scissor's such a big issue. I'm gonna go Palafin. I never die. And I can get some really nice recovery on this thing and threaten it with a hard flip turn. They do wish. Okay. Good play by me then. The issue is that, like, I mean, it puts me in a tough spot here. Not 100% sure what to do because they can just wish and get it all back. Man, I really wasn't expecting that Quackerbolt to be pretty bulky. I can Ice Punch, like, Fish for the freeze, which feels kind of scummy, but it's honestly, like, probably my best option. They also, like, I could be Terra Fire on my Thwacky. Technically, I know I'm not, but I could be. So maybe they're really afraid of that, which makes sense for the Scizor. I mean, I've already revealed 3 moves, but they don't know what my last one is. I do Ice Punch. Oh, that's so close to killing, and they get a hard Moonblast off. I live though, and they get a lot of HP back. I might get a good chunk of health. I wonder how long is left on this grassy terrain. Just for one more turn. I'm gonna flip turn here. I wonder if they're rocking Protect. If I Jet Punched, I probably just would have killed there and maybe won the game. Oh well. Yeah, that's my bad. My misplay. I honestly did not expect the Ice Punch to do that much. They're really not as invested physically as I thought. Yeah, that does a huge chunk, man. How did I miss that the first time going through? And I think I can go into my Enamorous here. If they Moonblast give me special attack raise, it would be amazing. Bang. Awesome. Into Scizor, if they want to switch out to that thing and take a Terra Ground Earth Power, it would 100% of the time kill. And it also definitely kills this Fable. Their max. Yeah, they 100% die. So I think Terra Ground Earth Power is my play. The Scizor still might be able to beat me. They do withdraw. Please go Scizor. I think they probably sack Quavo. They do. Dang it. Yeah. Misplay by me, man. Yep, so Quavo dies. Man. Yeah, I mean, that was a great play. Goodbye, Quavo. Now they probably go Scizor. And honestly, keeping this thing alive would be so huge. But I really don't think that I can win with Palafin. I just take way too much damage. I'm chipped so far down right now. I do think that they have this. They go Scizor. The only reason that they might not win is if they didn't have Bullet Punch. But they have to have Bullet Punch. I'm just gonna Earth Power. I mean, I just missed with Fire. Doesn't really matter. They U-turn, and they're faster, so they're Scarfed. Which is crazy. Fully Scarf. To outspeed my Enam. And they can afford to be Adamant Scarf. But that's not what I was expecting one bit. Yeah. Definitely was not expecting that. I can go Palafin here. And take this thing out. I'll take Enam off. Yep, there goes that thing. So, goodbye to Enam, and goodbye Clef. But I do think that Scizor probably has it here. They can lock themselves into U-turn. And it should just take me out. And then should take out my other guy. If I get a hard Jet Punch off here, a crit would be really nice. It's not crit. They click U-turn. Down goes the Finn. And it is Thwacky versus the world. Could I live this? Yeah, I guess technically I can live. Depending on what their spread is. If they're not adamant. Yeah. I mean, if they're not fully invested. I mean, they have to be, though. But Endeavor is my play. In case by some miracle I live this. I don't. Dang it. And Spin gets us 1-0. That was actually very, very close. I definitely threw going into the Chiyu. I did not expect the Scarf Scizor at all. Yeah. If I didn't take so much damage on my Thwacky earlier, then I actually would have won in that scenario. I get to take him down to low HP with Endeavor, and then kill with Grassy Glide. So, I mean, yeah. Also, if I was Terra Fire on that thing, then I easily would have won there as well. But I was not, even if I was Terra Fire and just like click knockoff, looking at the calcs, like if I just bring this Terra Fire or even like Terra Steel, U-turn literally does nothing into me. I out damage it with knockoff every time. So it's frustrating to lose that way, but I mean I do. Spin's a great battler, and he got me this time, but he won't get me next time. That's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle. See you guys in next week's. Peace out.